Hello, thanks for joining us on Nationwide. We are live on the network service of the NTA. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. President Muhammadu Buhari has formally received the report of the Presidential Committee that investigated allegations of wrongdoing against the suspended Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir David Lawal, and the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ambassador Ayo Oke. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who chaired the three-man committee comprising the National Security Advisor and the Minister of Justice, presented the report at a brief ceremony in the President's office this afternoon. The Vice President, who spoke to State House correspondents shortly after, said far-reaching recommendations were contained in the report but refused to give further details.
It's a fact-finding committee, as you know, and what our terms of reference were to find out, based on the facts that we had available to us and based on interview of witnesses, what transpired in both cases that were before us. The one involving the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and the one involving the DGNIA. We've concluded that, and we've submitted a full report with recommendations to Mr. President. And the whole approach is to ensure that justice is done in all cases. It's in the interest of the government and also in the interest of the nation that things are done properly, that there's due process, and that you are not unfair in any way. And that's the proper thing to do, and you can be sure that we'll do the right thing. I, of course, cannot give you any kind of details because the President has to look at it, has to study the report, and then make his own decisions based on that report.
What did he say to you after receiving the report, sir?
I'm sorry?
What did he say to you after receiving the report?
He said, thank you very much. Well done.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has given a marching order to the nation's security and intelligence agencies to do whatever it takes towards effectively securing the country and preserving her unity, stability and corporate existence. This was at a strategic meeting on national security with the top echelon of Nigeria's security apparatus. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Addressing the nation after his return from vacation, President Muhammadu Buhari, without mincing words, stated that Nigeria's unity is not negotiable and those fanning the embers of disintegration have crossed the national red lines.
This is a step too far. Every Nigerian has the right to live and pursue his business anywhere in Nigeria without let or hindrance.
The president also promised to ensure that terrorists and other criminal elements are relentlessly fought and destroyed so that the nation's majority can live in peace and safety. To match words with action, the Nigerian leader, barely 24 hours after the national broadcast, summoned those that matter in the nation's security and intelligence community to strategize on the best way forward. At the crucial meeting, which lasted over 3 hours, discussions centered on prevailing security challenges and all other issues threatening the peace, unity and stability of the country. President Buhari described the situation as intolerable and directed the law enforcement agencies to synergize and do whatever is necessary in the best interest of the nation and its people. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Olonishakin, who briefed newsmen after the meeting, said nothing will be left to chance in executing the presidential order.
All the security threats were treated one after the other, ranging from the terrorism to kidnapping, to herdsmen farmers, to the IPOP issue. All were treated, and comments were made as to what and to do as to those issues. I must say that in his address, he talked about the unity of the nation, and which is non-negotiable. And the military has been fully instructed to ensure that that directive is carried out to the letter. He also directed that we must ensure that the life and property of the citizens are protected, and we must make sure that we'll secure the nation, and also there are troops that are outside carry out their job effectively.
Apart from the service chiefs and the Inspector General of Police, the meeting was also attended by the National Security Advisor as well as Directors General of the Department of State Services and the National Intelligence Agency. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And Nigerians are advised to uphold the nation's unity and work collectively for the common good in building a new Nigeria. This was part of submissions of discussants on NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live. Talatu Ezirike reports.
Building a new Nigeria is a task that means so much to Nigerians, especially the leaders. Analysts say this is now necessary in view of matters overheating the polity that undermine national unity.
Hate speech can tear a nation apart.
In the words of President Muhammadu Buhari in a broadcast on Monday on his return from medical vacation in London, said Nigerians' unity is settled and non-negotiable.
Every Nigerian has the right to live and pursue his business anywhere in Nigeria without let or hindrance.
The broadcast, many strongly believe, speaks volumes in addressing ills such as agitations, security challenges, hate speech, and biased reportage, especially by the social media.
In Abu Dhabi, it is said that if you post anything negative on the social media, within 5 minutes you are under arrest. So there must be something to control this. Each person that has a smartphone that can go online, that can post anything, must have self-regulation, self-decency. But we know that not all persons will comply, because there are some people that are given to lying, given to falsehood. Such people need to be brought under control.
There are people who still do not understand that the 2015 election have come and gone. And they have to just allow PMB to enjoy his 4 years and probably, of course, come back for 2019 and then see whether they can take him away from Asorok. You find out that because the social media is very cheap, so they use that platform to come with all sorts of mischief.
For others, the president's body language is that of consolidating on gains with a collective resolve for sustained peace to build a vibrant economy.
And the issue of economy, I can assure you, is going to surprise a lot of people. Just give him time.
We don't appreciate the precious gift God has given us. He's one of the most celebrated Pan-African nationalists you can ever be proud to have. We must be united.
No doubt Nigeria is on the move again, and many say there is no stopping now in building the desired nation. Talat Ezirike, NTA News.
Sure, Talat, as the wave of hate speeches across the country continues to generate concerns, the National Orientation Agency has urged labor movements in Nigeria to speak up against the ugly trend. Omenka Amarachuku reports that the NOA Director General Garba Abari said these when he received the leadership of the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria. The report.
The Law on Hate Speech Terrorism Act 2011 defines hate speech as an act deliberately done with malice, which may seriously harm or damage a country or seriously intimidate a population. Sequel to this, the Director General of National Orientation Agency, NOA, Garba Abari, observed that Nigeria is passing through a critical existential challenge caused by its own citizens through hate speech, adding that this challenge can only be solved by citizens themselves. The Secretary General of Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria, Comrade Lawal, while commending NOA in their bid for effective nations building, said the visit was part of its efforts towards achieving its objective of interacting with senior civil servants of NOA on grade level 7 and above. The federal government recently drew the line on hate speech in the country, saying the offense will now be seen as terrorism. In Abuja, Omenka Amarachuku, NTA News.
And the Kwara State Governor, Alhaji Abdul Fattah Ahmed, has held a meeting with political, religious and labor leaders in the state on how to ensure sustainable peace Abdul Hafiz Alaya reports that the governor cautioned against hate speeches and incitements.
As a follow-up to the recently held security summit in Abuja, Governor Abdel Fattah Ahmed used the platform to discourage political and religious leaders from utterances that could overheat the polity. He noted that although constructive criticism promotes good governance, there is need for public speakers to separate criticism from incitement for peace to reign in the state and Nigeria at large.
Let us be very, very careful about what we say, especially those of us that have the opportunity of holding the microphone and talking in the public, either on the radio or in the mosque or in the church or in normal gatherings. Let us be very careful. If you incite people, it's an offense and to be taken against you in the court of law.
The governor also stressed the need for farmers and herdsmen in the state to obey laws and agreements reached by stakeholders to always compensate farms encroached on in order to avert clash and its attendant consequences. Stakeholders at the meeting described it as timely, considering the need to foster harmonious relationships for peace and development of the state and the country. In Leone, Abdulhafiz Alaya, NTA News.
The fight against corruption in Nigeria is said to be impeded by many obstacles, particularly those that slow down or frustrate attempts to recover stolen funds, both at home and abroad. Guest on NTA's breakfast program, Good Morning Nigeria, suggested that the government needs to widen its dragnet to include both state and non-state players in pursuing stolen funds wherever they may be on the face of the earth. Saliu Abdullahi completes the report.
The guest identified methods used by public officials to steal the nation's common wealth and cited the fact that there is a massive collaboration among some experts in banking, law, tax, audit, law enforcement administration, and the political class. They said the funds are stolen and diluted in such a way that tracing, identifying and recovering them becomes very difficult.
Is the weakness of our institutions. People go into the banks to alter records. People are able to influence investigation.
So it goes down to professional levels that they should hold their members accountable on the kind of services they claim to render. They can trace some funds that are suspected to be proceeds of crime.
Therefore, we are now, as a committee, paying attention regarding not only recovery, but management, so that at the end of it all, if the looter is the rightful owner, it goes to him in value. If it is for the government gets value.
They also advocated the establishment of a government unit to coordinate the recovery and management of looted funds while increasing networking with countries in possession of Nigerian stolen funds.
The challenge that we are facing in EFCC, for instance, it has to do with loot that are stashed in countries that Nigeria has no relationship with. Those set of loot, you can't even retrace them. You can't even trace them, talk less of getting them back.
So let the government open up and seek help and support, from across, so that they can actually see the goodwill from Nigerians living in abroad and Nigeria to actually help to contribute to recover this fund.
The guest acknowledged the determination of the current administration to recover Nigerian stolen monies that are critically needed for development, asking it not to give up, no matter the setbacks. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And Demola in our Lagos Network Center is standing by with top stories from that zone. Good to see you, Demola.
Good to see you too, Awa. Good afternoon and welcome to Lagos. As the countdown to this year's Eid al-Kabir celebration intensifies, the cost of purchasing a ram may not be affordable to some Muslim faithful, going by the situation report gathered from various ram markets across the Lagos metropolis. Musa Toliat tells us more.
Ram sellers compete to invite customers for an assessment of the animals on sale. This situation is evident in most markets visited, including Ijora and Bagada ram markets. Investigation reveals that there is an upward review of price tags placed on the sacrificial animals. For instance, The cost of buying a well-nourished ram revolves around 50,000 and 200,000 naira, depending on bargaining skills of a buyer.
We have a ram of 200. We have almost 300 here.
This one now 40,000. The seller.
Adherents who go with the option of buying goats will have to part with 70,000 or 80,000 naira.
Some big goats. We have the goat of 80,000. We have the one of 70.
Why?
Even before this seller period. Because it depends of the, we have the small one and we have the biggest goat.
Those who choose to pool resources to purchase a cow must budget for 120,000 or 160,000 naira, depending on the size of the cow. Although buyers are lamenting the astronomical increase in cost of rams, those in the business of selling attribute the situation to high cost of transportation, bad roads, and lack of permanent sites to do their business.
This type that I bought last year, I bought it like 30K, and now I bought it 35.
I will pay 400, 500 for transport from the north come here. So you are going to,
500.
Yes, thousands.
When government can give us here to sell the ram, so the price of the ram must come down.
They, however, call on the government to expedite action on linking the core north with the rest of the country by rail system, which they say can help transport the animals at affordable rates. In Lagos, Musa Toliad, NTA News.
The Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Jide Idris, has cleared the air on the speculations that more deaths were recorded aside the 2 cases that occurred from the recent Lassa fever outbreak in Lagos. He said despite the difficulties faced following up the people who were in contact with infected persons, Lagos State government has been able to contain the spread of the disease. Victoria Olabode reports.
The commissioner urged residents of the state to work with the government to combat Lassa fever as it is endemic to West Africa.
We recorded 2 more cases. Those are part of the remaining 4 that are undergoing treatment now. We've not recorded any further deaths. The best thing is to even prevent human contact with the vector. For health workers, what means that if you are seeing patients, if you need to do something, wear hand gloves. You can freeze your mouth. If you feel that patient is going to produce secretions that might be infectious.
The Chief Medical Director of Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Professor Chris Bode, has urged community health centers to refer patients without delay to the hospital once symptoms of Lassa fever have been established.
Among hospitals, we should not, especially primary care, secondary care centers, we should not keep patients for too long. We should refer them early if we even think, can this be Lassa? We need to control how we store the food so that rats don't get access to our food stuff.
He also urged people to take more seriously their personal hygiene to end the cycle of Lassa fever in Nigeria. In Lagos, Victoria Olabode, NTA News.
The Lagos State government has underscored the importance of accurate data collection to ensure adequate planning, which is necessary to bring about inclusive development and growth in all sectors. Commissioner for Establishment, Training and Personnel, Dr. Akintola Benson, stated this while receiving a delegation from the Nigerian Statistical Association on behalf of the state government at the Secretariat, Alausa, Lagos. Nosa Osula reports.
The commissioner, who received members of the Nigerian Statistical Association delegation alongside the special advisor to the governor on commerce, industry and cooperatives, Benjamin Olabinjo, permanent secretary, Lagos State Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, Abayomi Kodri, and permanent secretary, Ministry of Finance, Tunde Ogunleye, commended the association for putting the conference together, saying that aside Lagos State, all other states of the Federation and the federal government would benefit tremendously from topics lined up for discussion.
The methodology, the actions, or the way and manner to go about their plan. From there, this thing will have a major and positive impact on our people.
The delegation, led by the Nigerian Statistical Association's second vice president, Dr. Olusonya Olubusoye, and former statistician general of the Federation, Oladejo Ajayi explained that the visit was scheduled to intimate the state government about the forthcoming international conference of the association to be held in Lagos from September 6 to 8, 2017.
The state should participate in global statistical activities. That is the only way, because you will tell the whole world what you are doing, the methodology you are using, and people will assess it.
The state government affirmed that adequate data remains critical to bringing about efficient planning and execution of policies and programs that would help to enhance quality of life of Lagos residents. In Lagos, Nosa Osula, NTA News.
Well, that's our contribution from Lagos. It's back to you, Awa, for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Many thanks, Demola. And Nigeria has presented $2 million in cash, food, medicines and other relief materials to victims of mudslides in Sierra Leone. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, made the donation at the Freetown International Airport. Oku Ekpeyong reports.
On August 14, 2017, the West African coastal state of Sierra Leone was thrown into a state of shock and tears when heavy downpour that led to a mudslide claimed over 400 lives and destroyed property. Nigeria, as always, displayed her big brother role by visiting the scene of the disaster through her Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, accompanied by some top government officials.
To avert this kind of thing in the future is probably going to require relocating a very large number of people. And that's going to be a huge challenge because, as you can see around you, there are a lot of structures, a lot of houses, a lot of people live here.
Well, in terms of cost, it's about $1 million different items, ranging from food items, construction materials, and medical supplies.
Sierra Leone's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Samura Kamara, is optimistic that in the coming days or months, residents in disaster-prone areas in the country will relocate to safe places to avoid a recurrence of the incident.
Thank you so much.
Earlier at the State House, an emotional President Ernest Bai Koroma of Sierra Leone, apparently saddened by the death toll, is however grateful to Nigeria for always being with Sierra Leone through her challenging times from the Civil War, the Ebola era, and now the mudslide.
Some have been orphaned, some kids have been orphaned, and we have buried very close to 500 people as at today, and the numbers keep increasing.
For us, any tragedy that befalls Sierra Leone befalls us in Nigeria. Mr. President Buhari asked us to immediately send all the support we can to you. Of course, Your Excellency, as you know, we ourselves are going through very difficult times.
Before returning home, the minister was at the Nigeria House, Freetown, to interact with staff. From Freetown, Sierra Leone, Oku Ekpeyong, NTA News.
And back home, the National Assembly has given an assurance of its continued support to road safety management in Nigeria and the West African sub-region. This was at separate meetings by a delegation of the World Bank and the West African Road Safety Organization to relevant committees of the National Assembly. Mohammed Kalu reports.
Although the National Assembly is on recess, the importance attached to issues of road safety management explains why members of both committees had to cut their break to receive the World Bank team, Tawiah Ado Ashong, who was in company of the President, West African Road Safety Organization, WASO, Mamadou Kamota, and Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Boboye Oyeyemi, was in the National Assembly to assess the level of collaboration between the Assembly and FRSC. Chairman, Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs, Tijani Kaura, reiterated the existing cordial relationship between the National Assembly and the FRSC and promised appropriation of the requisite funds for its operations, as well as amendment of the inadequacies in road safety laws in Nigeria.
This commission has introduced a number of measures aimed at reducing road accidents on our highways. One of the most recent ones is the issue of speed limiting devices. This is in top gear. By the time this initiative is fully in play, incidences of road traffic accidents in this country will be reduced to the minimum.
The World Bank's senior transport officer hinted that the setting up of a network of parliamentarians to improving road safety in Africa was a major area of interest and sought collaboration with the National Assembly.
The effectiveness was limited by the poor laws in their country. And so they were wondering if SSATP could support them in bringing together a network of legislators to support the road safety agenda. So my responsibility is to see how this can be done.
The President, Waso, and the Corps Marshal, Boboye Oyeyemi, solicited the harmonization of laws in the sub-region's parliament on road safety, which could be taken to ECOWAS.
We've made so much progress in our relationship with the world. We've benefited so much in human capacity and the logistics. And there are other projects still going on. And we're getting the next support from the world that has eased the burden on the government.
At the House of Representatives, Chairman House Committee on Road Safety says the meeting was important in view of the UN and Accra Declaration of reducing road fatalities by 50%. He emphasized the need to promote road safety activities in Nigeria and the West African sub-region.
And here's a reminder that you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. And it's nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Time to take some messages. We'll be back shortly.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
National Council for Arts and Culture, Abuja presents 10th African Arts Crafts Expo, AFAC Expo 2017, the biggest arts and crafts expo in Africa. Theme, Nigerian Crafts, the untapped treasure. Date, 27th August to 17th September 2017. Venue, Arts and Crafts Village, beside Sheraton Hotel and Yaradua Center, Abuja. Time, 9 a.m. daily. AFAC presents a unique platform for artists, crafts dealers, manufacturers and other stakeholders to buy, sell, and promote products from Nigeria and other African countries. For more information, please call Chinwe on 0803-321-7724, Gerald on 0802-3345-301. National Council for Arts and Culture, our culture, our pride. Otumba Olusegun Ronshewe, Director General, Announcer.
Now, you can hold that dream occasion without stress. Horizon Caterers will provide answers to all your catering questions. Exquisite hall designs, mouth-watering and nourishing local and continental cuisine, suitable for all types of ceremonies, including weddings, AGMs, business luncheon, cocktails. Name it, we can bring it. Our chefs and executive waiters give your guests that unforgettable experience in service. Our service covers all states of the Federation. Call us today to book your occasions. 0805-502-9637, 0803-450-9726, 0909-9708-111. Horizon Caterers. Experience catering beyond the horizon.
Get high on books, not drugs. Only those who hate themselves fill their bodies with smoke, drugs, and harmful substances.
He broke my heart.
These days, when young lady or young man has emotional upheavals, he or she abuses cough syrup with codeine, some sniff glue, sewage, even petrol.
I'm already finished. Just let me finish myself completely.
Alas, where is our tomorrow headed? This week on Professor John Bull, we introduce to you high people, all of them, one by one. Find out why Jumoke wasted her school fees and why Flash went local.
Come on, stay on face, liar.
Over and out. Brought to you by Glow.
The largest data network, Glow Unlimited.
Get ready for the Diaspora Festival, Badagry, Lagos, as we welcome diasporans.
Our ancestors walked through the door of no return. Now we walk through the door of return.
And also to celebrate the cultural heritage of Nigeria. Theme, Voyage to Heritage, featuring a lot of exciting activities like the historic Door of Return ceremony, carnival procession, boat regatta, dark era procession, fishing competition, heritage site visits, international music concert, an international symposium themed African diaspora beyond the Atlantic, and lots more. Date, 23rd to 25th of August 2017. For sponsorship and more information, please call. Come and join the Voyage to Heritage. See you there.
Reorganized, trained, and fully equipped, we are the new improved Nigeria Police Force. We fight crime. We bust syndicates. Whatever the crime, wherever the hideout, the Nigeria Police Force will get you busted. Stop kidnapping, armed robbery, murder, pipeline vandalism, and other criminal activities. Be productive. Be security conscious. Join the police force to secure your life and property. This message is from the Nigeria Police Force Public Relations Department.
Thanks for rejoining us. It's nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Governor Obaseki woos World Bank, these and more as we join Ogochikuka for details in our Benin Network Center. Good to see you, Ogochikuka.
Good to see you, Awa. Welcome to Benin. The Oba of Benin, His Royal Majesty Ewa II, has described the return of President Muhammadu Buhari as a welcome development. He stated this in his palace while receiving guests, including the Amayanabo of Tuon Brass, His Royal Majesty King Alfred Spiff. Ive Omoyi reports.
Of Benin wants all Nigerians to be more supportive to the federal government for speedy growth and development, saying the president's return is a good omen.
Thank God for getting our prayers, bringing Mr. President back, keeping Nigeria one. His presence is coming back, and his physical presence will do wonders for the country.
In the meantime, the matter of leadership of the national chairman of the traditional rulers of all mineral-producing communities of Nigeria, TROPCON, has come to Edo State. The chairman of Bayelsa State Council of Traditional Rulers, His Royal Majesty King Alfred Spiff, Seria II, the Amayanabo of Tuon Brass, stated this when he visited the Oba of Benin.
The TROPCON conference is taking place. We like him to attend specially because the chairmanship position is zoned to Edo State.
The Oba of Benin, Oba Ewari II, says it is part of his aim and goals to develop the South-South and those in the grassroots, and as such, the zoning to Edo is timely.
I accept to take on the responsibility of that position.
TROPCON is a forum that aims to ensure that host communities benefit from the operations of the oil-producing companies in the South-South. In Benin, Ivie Omoyi, NTA News.
Edo State government is seeking more collaboration with the World Bank and foreign agencies to develop its technical and vocational education as well as the agricultural sector. Governor Godwin Obaseki was speaking when the World Bank Implementation Support Team on a working visit to the state visited him at the government house. Goodluck Naini has the details.
Records from the World Bank show that Edo State is among the 4 states in Nigeria utilizing resources provided by the World Bank under its State Employment and Expenditure for Results (C4) program to advance the state. So, when the team from the World Bank met the governor, it was another opportunity to take stock and deepen collaboration. He said the state government is also putting in place skills acquisition centers across the states.
Technical and vocational education is a core plank for this administration because we promised to create a minimum of 200,000 jobs. And those jobs can only be created when you have trained and prepared people for work.
Leader of the team, Ismail Assessi, who commended the state government for the prudent use of grants from the World Bank, said the World Bank and other supporting agencies will continue to support the states and urge the state government to strive towards assessing the TVET and Fadama components of the program. In Benin, Goodluck Naini, NT News.
And in other news, Governor Godwin Obaseki has expressed his sympathy for the victims and families of those who were involved in the auto crash that claimed 9 lives yesterday in Sakbomba area of Benin. This is contained in a press statement this Wednesday. Ayodele Ashubiojo reports.
The news with sadness and great distress, adding that the sad event brings the need to enhance the regulation of road traffic in the state into sharp focus. Eyewitness account reveals that the truck veered off the road and crashed into the 18-seater commercial bus. It resulted in the death of the driver and 5 passengers, while others were rushed to the nearby hospital. At the time NTA crew got to the scene of the accident, the truck was already set ablaze with the driver nowhere to be found, probably to avoid lynching from an angry mob.
Where the bus driver parked, it was loading, and he jammed the bus driver, 2 buses. We lost about 7 or 8 souls immediately.
We are even at the mercies of God on these reckless drivers. In fact, most of them are even supposed to be subjected to psychiatric tests.
Early in the morning, I joined here motor job. My neighbor said an accident. When we opened gates and come back, we saw that it was Tipan Tuke. We see that 5 people just did ground already.
I plead to the state governor, Governor Obaseki, to please command people to come and demarcate this road so that the road will be peaceful.
Meantime, the Deputy Governor, Philip Shaibu, has paid an on-the-spot assessment of the scene of the accident.
We sympathize with the family who lost their life, and for now we around here, government is sympathize with you now, and that is why we come. So we won't see what really happen and know how to avoid the thing from happening again.
In Benin, Ayodele Ashubiojo, NTA News.
And as a contribution from Benin, Awa back to you for the continuation of the news.
Many thanks to you. And moving on now, the presidency has advised Nigerian opinion leaders to exercise restraint in their choice of words to avoid heating up the polity and causing acrimony across the country. This was contained in a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Malam Garba Shehu. He said the President's speech on Monday on his return from a medical vacation is a matter of great satisfaction and that majority of the citizens welcomed the broadcast. The statement noted that criticizing the president for not responding to restructuring of the country is completely off the mark. The senior special assistant to the president said the president has no power to impose restructuring on the country by military dictate, adding that the National Assembly members are the elected representatives of the people who can handle agitations for restructuring and other constitutional changes. He explained that the president is constitutionally bound to work with the National Assembly to deal with such complex issues, reminding critics that the president would not exercise arbitrary powers or bypass the legislature in taking such fundamental decisions. Malan Garba Shehu said, while Nigerians are free to express themselves, they should exercise such liberty with restraint and a sense of responsibility. He said calling President Buhari an enemy of Nigeria is in extreme bad taste, adding that nothing in the president's service record would justify such a language. The Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, under the leadership of its President General and Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Al-Haji Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar III, wishes to inform the Nigerian Muslim Ummah that there was no positive sighting of the crescent of Zulhijjah 1438 after Hijrah in Nigeria on the 29th of Zulqa'dah 1438, equivalent to 22nd August 2017. However, scholars have advised His Eminence, the President General, to declare Wednesday 23rd August 2017 as the first of Zulhijjah 1438 after Hijrah, in accordance with the calculation of Saudi Arabia, where Hajj is performed owing to the fact that the weather was predominantly bad for sighting of the crescent of Zulhijjah in most cities of Nigeria. A statement signed by Ustaz Christian Okonkwo, Direct Administration, NSCIA, says the Sultan of Sokoto has approved Wednesday 23rd August 2017 as the first day of Zulhijjah 1438 after Hijrah. The Council also enjoins Nigerian Muslims to continue to promote peaceful coexistence and unity amongst all the citizens of the country. And the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria maintains 100% provision of accommodation within the proximity of the Prophet Muhammad Mosque, Medina, to make the 5 daily prayers less cumbersome to pilgrims. Abdullahi Musa Suleja reports from Medina, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
The Holy Prophet Muhammad Mosque in Medina is situated in the heart of the city and is surrounded by high-rising buildings which are hotels that accommodate the pilgrims who find it easy to frequent the mosque for worship. Nigerian pilgrims in the past were kept far distance from the mosque in less quality hotels. But in line with the present administration's change agenda, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria has since last year secured accommodation within trackable distance from the mosque.
The houses this time around is very close to the Haram.
This has minimized the loss of most of our people who will find it difficult to locate their houses. It will take you only 5 minutes to walk to the Haram without any hitch.
NACON has also improved its feeding arrangement and medical care to the pilgrims.
The medical facility is also there.
They took care of our accommodation, the feeding. We never had any problem.
Pilgrims who have completed their 8 days in Medina have continued to leave for Mecca in preparations for the Hajj rites. In Medina, Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
And back home, illegal oil refinery discovered in Zamfara State. Let's now join Salamatu in our Sokoto Network Center for details of these and other stories. Good afternoon to you.
Afternoon, Hawawu. Welcome to Sokoto, seat of the Caliphate. Zamfara State chapter of the Nigeria Labour Congress has issued a 21-day ultimatum to the state government to resolve all pending labor-related issues or face indefinite strike action. This came to far at a press conference held at the Congress Secretariat in Gusau, the Zamfara State capital. Haluru Muhammad Umar has the details.
Civil servants in Zamfara State have over the years been facing a number of challenges, ranging from non-payment of minimum wage and promotion arrears, non-settlement of the entitlement of retirees, and non-implementation of various salary structures, among others. Addressing a press conference, State Chairman Nigeria Labour Congress, Comrade Bashir Muhammad Mafara, expressed disappointment over the refusal of the state government to pay the 1,400 graduates employed since 2014. He also accused the state government of diverting bailout funds and Paris Club reforms meant to settle backlogs of salaries, pension, and gratuity.
Let me state again for emphasis that the labor movement in the state have never been in the picture of how the money were utilized, and despite promises made to use part of the money to settle especially the outstanding gratuity of the retired civil servant, the government have not been honorable enough.
The chairman, who remarked that the state government currently owes retirees over 4 billion naira, said a number of retired civil servants still receive as low as 4,000 naira as their monthly pension. Comrade Bashir Mafara, however, maintained that all effort to sit with the government to find an amicable resolution to the problems proved abortive. Meanwhile, all effort by NTA News to get the reaction of the state government on the position taken by the Nigerian Labour Congress was unsuccessful. From Gusau, Halliru Muhammad Umar, NTA News.
The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps in Sokoto has uncovered a fraudulent oil refinery in the outskirts of Sokoto metropolis. Jabi Ibrahim Ilela Dabori has the details.
Briefing newsmen on the new development, the State Commandant of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Babangida Abdullah Hadis Omar, said the fraudulent oil refinery was uncovered by the Anti-Vandalism Department of the Corps near Kasara village following a tip-off. He said when they stormed the scene, the suspects were at large, but they succeeded in getting the landlord who rented the bungalow to the suspects. The commandant said the illegal refiners have dug a ditch where they heat the supplied black oil and extract adulterated oil and other fake resources from it. There were high-tension electric poles and transformer in which a descending-necked aluminum electric high-tension cable was immersed inside the ditch to serve as a heating source to the downloaded black oil. He said the command will intensify investigation to get perpetrators to book. In an interview with the NTA News, the landlord Alhaji Abubakar Danjuma Amil Goma claimed that he is unaware of the illegalities perpetrated in his rented bungalow. Alhaji Milgoma said to the best of his knowledge, he only rented the house to some people who told him that they will use the place as black oil depot for installment supply to the cement company of northern Nigeria, Sokoto. The commandant said such surveillance and intelligence gathering information will be sustained among the three states under the zone. In Sokoto, Jabe Lela Dabure, NTA News.
Over 1,800 patients have benefited under the Senator Aliyu Magataka Dawamako's free eye treatment across Sokoto North Senatorial District. The program, which was flagged off at the palace of the district head of Bali in Gudu local government on August 1st, was rounded up at the Kofarini Clinic in Sokoto North local government. Muhammad Nasir reports.
The program targeted persons with various eye ailments. Local governments covered under the zone are Gudu, Tangaza, Benji, Wamoko, Silame, Kwari, Sokoto North and Sokoto South. The program covered over 80% above the 1,000 persons earlier targeted due to the influx of prospective beneficiaries. The areas of treatment included refractive errors with eyeglasses and other eye infections like conjunctivitis. Commenting on the exercise, Senator Aliyu Magataka Dawamako, who spoke through his Director Administration Al-Mustafa Al-Qali, said the program is aimed at further alleviating the suffering of his people. Senator Wamako pledged to sustain the gesture to further alleviate the sufferings of the people of the state. The leader of the pipeman medical team that conducted the outreach, Dr. Obani Chinemeze, expressed satisfaction with the orderliness of the beneficiaries. Some beneficiaries interviewed thanked Senator Wamoko and prayed Allah to reward him abundantly. District heads of Godu, Benji, Tangaza, Kwari, Wamoko, Silame, Sokoto North and Sokoto South expressed happiness over the gesture and appealed to other well-to-do in the state to emulate Senator Wamoko. In Sokoto, Muhammad Nasir, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Sakutu. News Nationwide continues with Hawa. Over to you, Hawa.
Many thanks, Salamatu. And moving on now, Governor Kashim Shettima takes steps to reposition Borno State Civil Service as he appoints new head of service and top government functionaries. Over now to Naomi for details. You're on.
Thank you, Hawa, and welcome to Maiduguri. Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima has sworn in new head of service and other top government functionaries with a view to injecting a new lease of life to the state civil service to improve the lots of the citizenry. Hamad Jabani takes up the rest of the report.
Those sworn in were administered out of office and allegiance by the representative of Borno State Chief Judge, Justice Fadawu Umaru. Addressing the new appointees, Governor Kashim Shettima directed the head of service to rejuvenate the civil service, which has declined over the years. As such, there is need for concerted effort to reposition it.
Public service rules and other statutory guidelines deliberately instituted to ensure smooth operation of the service are hardly enforced.
He also charged Chairman of Civil Service Commission and his team to live up to expectation and assures that promotions are done on merit, emphasizing that government will no longer tolerate redundancy in the civil service. In his introductory remarks, Secretary to Borno State Government, Usman Jiddeshua, said the 1999 Constitution conferred the power on the governor to approve those appointments to fill in existing vacancies created by those who have put in 35 years in service. Responding on behalf of the new appointees, the head of service, Yerima Saleh, indicated the readiness to address the challenges in the civil service. In Maiduguri, Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Borno State says it has recorded success in all the 27 local governments registration centers across the state. Yagum Subukar has an update on the effort of the commission in liberated areas of Borno State.
It could be recalled that INEC has approved more new registration centers in Borno in an effort to capture more eligible voters. This development has yielded results in the first quarter of the exercise, whereby the internally displaced persons were given the opportunity to register, including returnees to liberated local government areas of the state. This, according to INEC, they do with the assistance of Nigerian Air Force, which transport personnel and materials needed for the voter registration.
During the rainy season, areas like Kalabalge is not motorable and they have to use Air Force to afflict them. And also areas like Goza, Banki, where we have our people who are doing the registration, they all have been conveyed there.
Council chairman of one of such areas, Kalabalge Alifa Bukaran, had, in an effort to ensure speedy completion of the exercise, donated power generating system in addition to recruiting ad hoc staff of the council to complement INEC's effort. Alifa Bukaran, while assessing the voter registration exercise in Kalabalge, called on the people of the area to seize the opportunity provided and get registered so as not to be disenfranchised. Residents of Kalabalge local government who fled the area at the peak of the insurgency recently returned to the area after being liberated by the Nigerian military. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Maiduguri. Is back to Hawa in Abuja for more reports on NTA Nationwide.
Many thanks to you, Naomi. And on the foreign scene, elections ongoing in oil-rich Angola to elect new leader. Angolan President Eduardo dos Santos set to quit after 38 years in power. Over now to Ilyasu Ali Yakubu.
Angola got her independence in November 1975 after 14 years of resistance to Portuguese colonial rule. Soon after Angola got independence, a civil war broke out among interested parties, thereby hindering growth and development of the oil-rich country. Despite extensive oil and gas resources of Angola as the second largest producer of oil and gas in Africa, the country is also rich in diamond, hydroelectric potential, and rich agricultural land. Angola purportedly remains poor as majority of the population relies on subsistence agriculture. Angola's outgoing president, Jose Eduardo dos Santos, took over reins of leadership from the country's first president, Antonio Agostinho, in 1979. Since 2002, when the 27-year civil war ended, the nation has put machinery in place to repair and improve ravaged infrastructure and weaken political and social institutions. Available research also shows that high international oil prices and rising oil production have contributed to the strong economic growth since 1998, but corruption as a result of public sector mismanagement remains worrisome, especially in the oil sector. As Angola elects new president and with the abundant natural and mineral resources, it is expected that the people of Angola should look inward and harness the rich potentials for the growth and development of the country. Ilyasu Aliakubu, NTA News.
And next is a check on Thursday's weather prospects.